Okay, so like Tiago said, my name's Josh. 2 years ago, I was going into my senior year at Princeton University in the States. I was a sociology major. I don't know why, but I was. And I had 3 internships. I was an intern at IBM, intern for my senator, U.S. politician. And right before my senior year started, I went to my mom. I was like, Mom, I got 8 more months till I graduate college. I'm going to leave to start a company. And she's like, she laughed. She's like, that's such a funny joke. Like, you got me. I was like, no, I'm actually serious. I'm going to do it. And freaked her out. And 2 years later, we sold the company to Facebook, where I now work as a product manager. And I'm also a partner at BetaWorks, which is a seed stage investor in New York that invests in companies like Airbnb and Fab. So I remember at the time when I left, like I knew I wanted to do this company. It felt right, but there were so many things. It was just so daunting. And I know, raise your hand out here if you have like an idea of some sort. Not that you want to start a company, but like you think of ideas, right? Come on, everyone, you all have ideas, don't lie. I remember there, like it can be overwhelming how many things are in the way of like idea to like it being a reality. So I wanted to give a couple tips about things that I think can make it easier. Because one thing that I think is true is that oftentimes, because there's so many things that you have to do, you kind of want cheats. Like you want easy ways out. And unfortunately, they're not. It's really hard. But there are certain things you can do to cheat your way. So I want to share a couple of those things that work for me. The first was, our idea was that every publishing platform on the internet was a monologue. It was one person talking out. Wouldn't it be cool if there were multiple people that could publish at the same time? And one thing that's true is if you have an idea and you want to raise money, you absolutely need to build a prototype. It doesn't need to be complete, it doesn't need to be the whole thing, but it can't just be an idea. You need to build something and be able to show to people. But that's really hard and that can be daunting and that can be challenging. And as a sociology major, that was really like, how do I even do that? But there's certain ways you can cheat. So this was our first prototype. And if you look at it, it looks like, well, it's kind of blown up, so it looks kind of weird. But it looked like a pretty legit website. Like it looked like something, you could, like a whole social network where you could log in, post, create an account. In reality, a lot of it was hacked together. So over there it says apply for membership to make it seem like, oh, you got to get an invite. That's because we didn't build accounts, and there was no way to create an account even if you wanted to. So we said apply for membership and we'll consider you. Instead of building like a follow model where you could follow people and see stuff in a stream, we were like, enter in your email and you'll follow this conversation. And we never sent you an email. And then the final thing was we got all of these really well-known tech people to participate in the conversations. And these are people like Evan Williams, who started Twitter. But they're very, very busy. So we said, don't worry, you can reply by email. Just like type on your phone a reply and it'll post to the website. That's really, really hard because you have to be able to parse out their phone number, their email. Like imagine if Evan Williams' email and phone number was on the internet. That would be a huge fail. So what we did is every time a new post came in via email, it would ring my alarm. And I would go in there manually and like take out the phone number and email and then press post. So to them, they thought it was like, oh, this fancy system where just reply by email. In reality, it was just me like getting woken up at 2 a.m. and going and posting. Point being, you could say, man, I need a follow model and I need to be able to reply by email. And it's like, just be creative about ways that you can kind of prove out your concept. Look, how cool is it that you have 5 tech people talking to each other about the same topic without building a follow model, accounts, all of that stuff. So you absolutely, no way about it, like out of it, you need to build a prototype, but be creative about the ways that you can hack your way and not build everything at once. So the second is, I get a question a lot. We worked very, very closely with the founders of Twitter and Blogger. So Evan created Blogger, which was essentially the first big blogging platform, and then all of them together started Twitter with Jack. So I always get the question like, how did you meet them? Like, how did it happen? And this is another thing. You can't do it alone. Like, the tech press likes to tell these stories about these visionary founders that just, like, knew the way and, like, they didn't need any help. And, like, that's not true. You need help from people that have done it before. And you may be really good and smart, but you need to find mentors and people to help you along the way. It was really, but it doesn't, there are ways you can hack around it. So these guys, what I did was, they created blogs, they created Twitter. It seemed like they would be the perfect mentors, but they're obviously very busy. So I ended up meeting a lot of people that worked at their companies in the past. And what I would do is, one thing to keep in mind is, if you're trying to raise money, never ask for money. Always go into meetings with just like, questions for them, like, hey, like, I'm really excited about this, but I need your advice on this because I'm stuck on it. What do you think? And just be super excited about what you're doing and ask for advice. So I set up meetings with a lot of people that work for them, and we're super excited and ask them for advice. And it's like, hey, is there anyone else that you think I should meet that might have an opinion about this? And they all said these guys. So the first time, they sent him an email introduction, hey, meet Josh, he's doing something, Evan, Biz, Jason, that you guys would like. You should meet him. No response. Second person, same thing, no response. Third person, texted an intro. I was like, yeah, you should really text them. They haven't been responding to my emails. No response. Fourth person, fourth time someone introduced me to these guys, Jason finally responded and said, I kind of said, like, hey, I'm in San Francisco for, where he's like, I only have one. He emailed me like the night before. It was like 11 p.m. or something on like a Thursday night. I was like, oh yeah, it'd be great to meet you. I only have time tomorrow morning, essentially thinking like, all right, I'm just going to give an impossible time because I know he's in LA. And I was like, oh, funny, and like, if you can make the time. I was like, oh, funny thing, I'm going to be in San Francisco tomorrow morning. I got in my car and drove from Los Angeles to San Francisco, which I think is the equivalent from like here to Barcelona at like 11 p.m. And I get to so just to meet with Jason. And so I get to the office and we meet with him, and like, I'm super excited. I don't ask him for money. I don't ask him for anything. I'm just like, hey, I'm really excited about what I'm doing. I would love your help. You have a lot of good advice. And when the meeting went great. And on the way out, he's like, you didn't come up just for me, did you? And I was like, no, of course not. I did. I drove back right after that meeting. But because I was excited, because I asked for advice, as I was walking to my car, he was like, hey, do you think you can come back and meet with Ev? And I was like, yeah, I think I have time for that, and sprinted back, met with Ev, had a really great meeting, and the rest is history. We moved into their office in San Francisco. Ev, Biz, Jason, me and my two co-founders for 6 months working one-on-one. But again, it didn't just like magically happen, right? Like, there were 4 people that introduced us. They all went wrong. I had to drive to San Francisco and back. So the point is, you definitely need a mentor. You definitely need someone. It's going to be hard to find that person, but find someone. The reason they helped us is because they are genuinely passionate about publishing, and we were doing something with publishing. So we didn't go to Reid Hoffman, who started PayPal, and said, hey, Reid, will you help us out? Reid's famous, and that would have been kind of cool, but like, why would he be excited about us? So find someone that's in the same space as you, and just get creative and get excited and find ways to get to them. It won't happen overnight, but you never know. You may have to drive kind of far, but it might work out. And the final thing is, this is the email I got from Tiago. Really great subject line. Like, he definitely A/B tested that because, it was a good one. But I found out that he sent like 300 of these, and he told me he had this funnel. He's like, I had this list. I sent 300. 10% respond, and then the rest are us. So we were the ones that bit. But the point I want to make is that you gotta put yourself out there. You're gonna have to send 300 emails, and like 290 aren't gonna work, but like, this is all people are gonna remember. I can't tell you how many times I failed, and like how many times I've sent emails and it hasn't worked, and how many ideas I've tried to make in a branch and it didn't work, and how many things at branch we did and didn't work. But at the end of the day, if you work hard, eventually something good will happen, and then you'll be able to put up a slide and be like, I sold a company to Facebook, when in reality, I fucked up a lot, and it just takes a lot of hard work, and there are a lot of intros I didn't get, and I made a fool of myself. But I think part of it is just knowing that if you put yourself out there and you're really genuinely excited, good things will happen in the end. And you're sitting there, you're in the shower, you're like, God, I got a fucking good idea, but man, there's so much shit to do. Just get out there, send an email. It'll be worth it. It'll be awesome. And tell your mom, promise your mom you'll go back to school if you do leave school, even if you're not gonna. I think that's it.